Alright, it's turn 41, and alas, some good things happened. We found the Silver Sarcophagus, which gives us Death and Astral, which is nice. That income is always very, very welcome. Our Death income is looking really, really solid, which is great. Also, our Blood Slave income is looking really solid. But, there was a battle at the Fortress of Hinnom. It happened under darkness, which is actually good, kind of. It doesn't hamper our skeletons. However, it also doesn't hamper the Machakan. It does hamper these Yeti. He has a lot of summoned crap here, like more than I was expecting. He's got a lot of Machakan, a devil or two, 2 fire drakes, 5 whites. So he's cast the white summoning spell, plus he summoned a Bane. And he's got all of these Yetis back here. His god, not an AC caster, the Great Enchantress, is here. She is a full rainbow and generates astral pearls. He also has a Baal. And, of course, his Son of Kokabel up front. So the Son of Kokabel here starts with a Moon Lance. Ouch. And he's given him a copper plate, a ring of fire, and a pendant of luck. So he is lucky, as well as 141 hit points and pretty high stats across the board. I'll be honest, I did not remember that this dude had 141 hit points. That is ouch. And he's got some random mages scattered around, as well as his chariots. So, watch how this goes. Of course, I had, as I said I would, set Varanharis out front. So Varanharis is charging in. Spells are coming down on the undead, doing some damage. He's summoning imps. We've got Strength of Giants and all that stuff. And Varanharis, unfortunately, gets crippled at the first blow, which tanks all of his skills and makes him even more vulnerable. And of course, this guy does so much damage that his high protection hardly matters. So, the duel, regretfully, is decided. And the Maziks jump in at just the wrong time. The Mazikim jump in right behind here, along with the devil, and they distract all the skeletons just as they were about to go in and try to clean this guy up. And then the infantry comes in. The fire drakes are actually burning everybody on both sides. Ultimate Misfortune strat here is it's the Dominion bonus is what changed his hit points so much. Taking a lot of damage, but Varanharis is dead at this stage. The skeletons are still distracted fighting the Mazikim, and they are hacking the Mazikim down, but then the fire drakes get in, the infantry, the whites are standing there fighting, and the skeletons go in. They do what they can. They kill off the whites pretty effectively, to be honest, but it is a little bit too little and a little bit too late. So, the Siege of Hinnom is repelled. Now, Hinnom lost all of their Mazakim, both their fire drakes, all of their chariots. They lost their Bane, they lost 3 mages, and they lost most of their other units. They've got about 24 units left in total. So we did a lot of damage. It just wasn't enough. And we lost more in numbers in terms of resources expended. Well, we also lost pretty heavily because we lost 2 shamans, a mound king, and an antlered shaman, as well as Varanharis, the Son of Steel, and all of his items. So, very, very disappointing. The Long Dead performed okay. 108 kills, 165 losses. Considering that I'm summoning those so cheap, I'll take that. Retreat-wise, everybody made it, but very, very disappointing. Some random events, nothing too terribly important. I did lose a scout in Illadar, where unfortunately the Palisades has just finished. So, we're bringing troops back in to maintain the Siege of Hinnom. We have some units maintaining the siege. They don't have many units left, so if they try to come out at us, we should be able to get them here. Just need to set everybody on hold and attack. We've just got kind of random groupings of units that we scraped back together to send everybody in. We're summoning more and more skeletons and another king. Up here, we are summoning our fiery imps for the war against Therados up here. And that's how that should go. Therados, incidentally, is driving Atlantis back into the sea, which is very, very bad. This stack is frightening. I don't like it. But we will we'll just do what we can here. Might not be much. We've got Uvatha with his 80 skeletons coming back this way. I don't think I'll meet him in Hinnom, and I think I will need him to help stave that off. I don't really have enough death gems to be summoning a whole lot of stuff over here, so why don't you just research for now. But, yeah, we're working our way up to Blood Magic level 7 with stunning rapidity, so hopefully that will happen before turn 50, definitely. So that will be good. And our scouts, we're just going to kind of launch over this way. Poor Varn Harris. You never had a chance. Crippled at the first blow. So that is the turn. Other than that, it's just more of the same pretty much. Blood hunting. Stacking up slaves. Getting ready to start summoning as soon as we can. The one thing I'm going to do is I can't recruit shamans here. I'm going to start recruiting shamans here in an effort to get that death fire cross path so that I can forge skulls of fire, because if I can forge skulls of fire, then it will be trivial to have these ladies start binding devils for me instead of fiery imps. Unfortunately, there's only so far I can boost blood with boosters. I'm getting up to where I can cast the Ritual of 5 Gates, which is coming next blood level. That would be really good. So I think I'm probably going to empower her in blood here. That'll push her up to blood 4. He's blood 3 and horror marked. We'll see. We'll see what we can do. I'm going to have you forge another bloodstone probably, because I need blood 5 in order to forge a whole lot of blood boosters. Let's forge a bloodthorn. Get another one of those. Give it to him. That'll boost him to blood 4. Hopefully he can ratchet up a little higher from there. And we'll see what we can do. So, that's turn 41. I'll see you all in turn 42. Alright, so it's turn 42, and hilariously, there was a battle in White Forest, and let me show you how this went. So, I'll explain why this happened in a minute, but one barbarian chief attacked this province. And get this, there were 3 archers standing here, 3 ghost archers. They routed immediately, because there's no undead leadership on the field. So, without undead leadership, the undead just run away. They don't dissolve because they're not mindless, but they just run. And I think that by routing, they triggered a morale check in this militia and this archer, which they also failed. So all 5 of these units just run straight off the battlefield. And in running off the battlefield, they rout the commander. And so the commander also runs. And so this one barbarian chief, totally unscripted and unintended, takes this province. The reason this happened was that he was here and I told him to go here, not realizing that this river was thawed. So he went up here on his way. Now that's, like, okay with me, because it means I get to steal a turn of income from this province. Therados messaged me and was basically like, hey dude, what are you doing taking my provinces? And I was like, oh yeah, sure, you can have it back. Because of course I don't have many troops in position. I have over here quite a number of fiery imps, like 100 of them, but I need undead leadership, which is why I'm reviving kings down over here. So I'm actually going to revive 3 kings. That'll be 240 undead leadership, and they'll move over here, pick up the imps, and then we'll go in. Over here, I have once again broken the walls of Hinnom. However, I don't feel comfortable assaulting again yet, because he's still got his mages and stuff in there. The flip side is, every turn I wait, he gets to summon more, but at least he won't get to summon more Machakan, because he won't have any gems for that, because he has no nature income. He's got earth, fire, and blood slaves, and 1 astral. I have to think he's basically out of gems. So just by holding this position, I will turn it in my favor more and more, but it's a little bit frustrating that it's taking so long. Irminsul actually needs to forge another blood booster, so we are going to forge... We can forge a brazen vessel, or an armor of souls. Or another Armor of Twisting Thorns, which is actually cheaper but costs nature gems. We could also forge the Ring of Returning, which is kind of a hilarious item. We're not high enough level to forge the rings, unfortunately. So yeah, and since we've hit Construction 6, we can forge Lightless Lanterns now. Let's forge a Brazen Vessel here, since that's easily portable. And we'll use that. We're empowering her. Runo is actually just going to research for right now. We'll hand him another blood booster. That'll make him blood 5, and then they two will start casting the Ritual of 5 Gates. Our blood slave income is pretty high. This turn, once again, about 50. So we can easily afford to do that while still building up some slaves. In order to, as soon as we hit blood 7, we'll hit blood 6 next turn. As soon as we do that, we'll be able to start summoning vampires. For now, I do have Uvatha here, and Uvatha is going to move down over that way. We're also going to move our 2 Bane Thugs with their Rings of Regeneration and such over that way. We're forging some Boots of the Messenger over there. Over here, we're forging Armor of Souls. We're forging, not Armor of Knights, I'm sorry. We're forging Frostbrands, and we're forging Frostbrands because something that I had neglected to realize. Let's read messages here. Let's look at this battle in White Forest. Let's look at these ghosts. They're only cold resistant 15, so Frostbrands, they're not going to be the most efficient weapons against them, but having some around will, I think, be useful. The other option is to forge, of course, Firebrands. Which actually I may do, yeah. Why don't we have you forge Firebrands instead? You'll be able to do that for a couple of months at least, and then you can forge the Armor of Knights. We're also forging another Dwarven Hammer, so we'll be able to give Crocus a hammer. Actually, tell you what, let's take Runo's hammer away since he's not using it. I apologize if my voice sounds weird today. I'm just, I'm struggling with this cough. It's really, really getting to me. He can forge the Armor of Knights. We're forging an Owl Quill there. That's fine. Why don't you also forge an Owl Quill? And I do need to conserve my fire gems a little bit because I still have almost no income. We are storming Peacehaven. I don't think he has hardly anything defending it, so we should be able to take it down with the fairly limited forces we have. This is about 60 units or so, more than that actually. This is about 80, 90 units. And we are upgrading our fortress in Arcocephali, so that's the plan. These guys are moving over here to reinforce. Probably next turn we'll try to storm Hinnom again. Goar actually needs to sneak up there. Baldwin is going to sneak down here and add his reanimating power. Cambria is hiding and waiting for one turn. He's going to get an Armor of Knights, and that will give him very, very full gear. And we'll take it from there. So, thanks for watching. I'll see you in turn 43. Turn 44 is probably when the war against Therados really kicks off. Atlantis is going ham, and Atlantis is doing a pretty good job. I don't know where all the big ghost stacks have gone to. I presume they've gone back underwater. So pretty soon will be a good time to be attacking. Got lots of corpse constructs up here, so having some shock resist would be nice, which I, of course, don't have, but we will see what we can see. And, of course, I'm recruiting shamans up here in an effort to get that, that fire death cross path. Hasn't happened yet, but we live in hope. I'll see you in turn 43. Okay, turn 44, and we are finally about to go in against Therados. We're at Blood Magic level 6, so it is time to begin casting the Ritual of 5 Gates. I could also actually cast Infernal Disease to send disease demons after people. But we're going to start casting the Ritual of 5 Gates. And that is going to suck up pretty much our whole slave income. We've got 3 turns to go until we hit Vampire Lords. But we've got these 3 bros here with close to 200, about 180 fiery imps. So fiery imps are only size 1. They do have decent attack and defense skills, low hit points and low protection, but they can throw flames, which are armor-piercing magical fire damage. And they have a fire shield, so they will hurt anyone who attacks them to a small degree. And of course, the ethereal ghosts don't have any protection. So we're going to do the classic Ulm thing, where we have earth mages right behind them casting Strength of Giants, which will buff them up a little bit. So we're going to send a couple of our dudes with them to do that. And could also send a couple of Garnet Sorceresses along to summon more imps. Nah, we're just going to have them summon imps in the place here. You go down there. Gore and Lutebolt. I know you all aren't getting the benefit of the sight here, but I need you to be reanimating on a monthly basis. So we'll do that. So you two and you three, you all are going to go in there. This is a fairly, to be honest, this is a fairly, like, jank army. Like, this is not hugely powerful, to be fully honest, but it's something. And we're just going to send it in, do a little bit of damage, and that will be that. We're also going to give these guys belts so they can keep casting for a while. And I'm going to give them both earth gems so that they can, after they cast their Strength of Giants, they can summon... oh, that's right, I haven't researched any conjuration yet. I would like to summon a full-size Earth Elemental. How long would it take me to hit Conjuration 5? 2 turns, probably. Yeah, 2 turns. Well, to be honest, Earth Elementals wouldn't be terribly useful against ghosts, anyway. Yeah, okay. We'll just carry on as we have been. I could be enlivening gargoyles, which would be kind of cool. I don't know how useful gargoyles are. I don't think they're terribly useful, but could be kind of cool. In any case, we're just going to kind of keep on waiting for the world to change here. We're moving in our more slaves. Down here, we're going to launch the other prong of our attack. We've got Kurgle and Rend, our little very, very over-equipped Bane thugs with regeneration and cold and poison resist and heavy armor and all that stuff. And Berserk, and we are going to send them in along with Uvatha, who just has 80 skeletons. And the goal here will be for Uvatha to siege down this palisade while Kurgle and Rend prevent anyone from stopping him, basically. I've also got a ton of scouts here, so let's send them out somewhere. Now, in terms of magic, I am going to need to deploy some of that. Specifically, we're going to deploy these 3 antlered shamans, and we're going to deploy them with a bunch of nature gems each. And their jobs will be to... where's the other one? Rodolf. Their job will be to layer poison resistance and wooden warriors and such on people. We've got Anais and Aoric with kind of general use gear. They, excuse me, they've got amulets, they've got armor of knights, and they've got firebrands, which will work on the undead. I would like them to have shields as well. I'm forging a shield of gleaming gold. I can't afford to forge 2 shields of gleaming gold, unfortunately, because I don't have the gems for it. Yeah. Because I'm forging a firebrand over here. So wait, why can't you... If you can forge a firebrand, why can't you forge a shield of gleaming gold? It's because it's in the opposite order. That's why. So, since he's removing 3 gems from the cost, the firebrand has the fire gems first, so he removes 2 fire gems and 1 earth gem. But the shield of gleaming gold has the earth first, so he's removing 2 earth gems and 1 fire gem. That's annoying. That is very, very annoying. Why don't you start forging lanterns for me? For research purposes. Gonna hand out these quills while I'm thinking about it. And I also need to be deploying a few more blood hunters because I have sanguine dowsing rods sitting around gathering dust. Arnold, you can have that. Actually, Yeah, because your earth magic won't be terribly useful against the ghosts. So you can have that. I would like Bina to actually put that back. And why don't we give her an SDR and Faela an SDR. And those two ladies will head down to... that one would work. High Peaks. Or we can go to... neither of those places are really good. I'll figure it out. We took Peace Haven. I think we actually did that last turn. Yes, we took Peace Haven last turn. And this turn in geopolitics, Mictlan is attacking Atlantis, and so, of course, is Baratos. I'm not, sorry, Baratos, Therados. And Therados has now taken Baratos from Atlantis, with their little army here led by Atelkine. Their army is getting whittled down, but Atlantis is certainly losing. I've got my fortress in Arco. I don't have a lab here yet, unfortunately. So that needs to happen, and I need money for that. Let's just kill these ladies real quick. Boy, that sounded awful. You know what I mean. And let's build a lab. Vetrania, you can move away. Yeah, so... these three ladies are all just defending for the nonce. I do have several Fiends of Darkness here. Fiends of Darkness could be useful. Seg is binding them. We're blood hunting. We're forging Boots of the Messenger. We also need to forge, instead of you forging Boots of the Messenger, I would like you to forge Vine Shields. And then you, Hano, you can forge Boots of the Messenger. Okay. These three ladies all need to be casting something or researching. Could construct corpsemen, but not very efficiently. Could construct mannequins. I could only construct one mannequin. Let's actually just summon 3 more packs of wolves real quick, so that we have more patrol chaff, because he can't lead the undead. That's fine. I'm doing that because, of course, I have these two ladies who are going to be opening up a new blood hunting province. Probably here in High Peaks. So let's get Bodolev over to High Peaks. I'm reviving skeletons down here, but I don't particularly want to use them. Cambria. He needs a suit of armor. So that, we're forging an armor of knights, aren't we? Yeah, Crocus's armor of knights will go to him. Arnold, if you could forge an extra armor of knights to make sure we can continue to gear people. And Cambria the Barbarian should actually sneak down this way, because Therados may try to strike at us from this direction if they can get past those guys, or they can attack Arcocephale. And so, we are going to need to be ready to block those thrusts. We're going into Hinnom again. Hopefully it'll go better this time. He shouldn't have much left unless he's somehow managed to summon a whole bunch more garbage. I need more patrolling. Yeah, I'm not quite managing to patrol away all my unrest. So I could use a little bit more. So yeah, we'll get those wolves distributed a little bit. And that'll be good. So Nordeman, you're moving it back up there. We don't actually need you up here, Nordeman. Just hang out for a second, because you're going to pick up wolves. So yeah, we are... let's see how this goes. These 3 gentlemen will sneak over this way and come down to join the army. They'll be casting Wooden Warriors, they'll be casting Strength of Giants, they'll be casting Poison Resistance, they'll be doing all kinds of good stuff. Vidagoya here can just research for the nonce. Let's give that to someone who needs it. Who is forging something without a hammer? You're forging without a hammer. Why don't you have a hammer? And that will be that. These Banes shouldn't need any reinvigoration because they are fatigue neutral naturally, so we'll see how they do. This is experimental, kind of. Banes are not super tough, but they do have high hit points. They're regenerating 3 hit points per turn, and decent defense skill, so I feel like they should do alright. Basically, with the Berserk and all, these guys are just going to try to run out the clock against a big horde of ghosts, and make the ghosts run away before they do, at which point they can kind of swoop in. The corpse constructs might be a problem, because attacking corpse constructs can stun you. But then they have regeneration anyway, so even if they're stunned, they should be able to get through it. Especially because with magic resistance 18, they're going to be taking half damage from the ghosts most of the time. So I think that's going to be the turn, and I'll see you all in turn 45. Alright, so it's turn 45, and in some ways this has been a pretty good turn, but I think you can see the problem. Yeah, that's right, the attack on Hinnom. I'm not even going to watch this. I've watched this video. It's embarrassing. Here's what happened, basically. The son of Kokobel here. Well, let me show you. I'll show you. So, we're going in. We have a pack of troops. I was a little bit worried this would happen because my magic support is very, very scant, but I was hoping they wouldn't have hardly anything left because they didn't last time. Since then, they've summoned more troops. And they've got the son of Kokobel still. And the son of Kokobel has his gear on, and with his gear on, he's high protection and tough-skinned, so he's very high protection. And very high skilled, and has fear, and most importantly of all, he can etherealize himself. So, this is how this goes. My guys are standing here. They start getting blasted by anti-undead spells. The son of Kokobel is now ethereal, so 75% of attacks just straight up miss because nobody in my army has magical weapons. Also, they cast Howl, because they do have a small gem income, being that their capital gives them a few gems, and this great enchantress spawns 1 astral pearl per month. So, basically, my buff skeletons charge in, and they get hung up on the son of Kokobel. And then a few of them go in here and start fighting these bone fiends and wolves, but most of them hit the son of Kokobel and basically stay there. They do about 40 points of damage all told. But the human units rout almost immediately because of the fear effect, and because they're in hostile dominion. And the skeletons are just standing here. The skeletons and zombies are just standing here fighting him. My mages get aced. And I'm not entirely sure what exactly does it, but the mages, I think they just freaking fatigued out and didn't run in time. So, these guys, like, rally back to the fight and charge back in, but they are then distracted by wolves, and yeah, it's the wolves. The wolves come in and start eating people. And we just get pushed off. So, I broke my cardinal rule. I didn't have anybody holding back to maintain the siege. Agrowolf gets away. That's not Agrowolf, that's an axe word. This is Agrowolf. By virtue of regenerating, oh, sorry, I just hit my mic, all the way back to the edge of the battlefield, Agrowolf gets away, but it's a disaster. It's bad. We killed some units, including some summons, but wow, definitely not worth it. Now, this only really works because they had the castle walls to hide behind. Without the castle walls, if they try to come out, they're really going to suffer. Still, I would categorize that as extremely irritating. So what I'm doing here is we're going to go straight back in. No, stop that. We're going to go straight back in with these guys because, of course, losing 80 skeletons would not be a huge loss. And I'm just gonna set them to attack rear, both squads. And if he comes out of his fortress and tries to take provinces back, I'm hoping that Kuvudra here will be able to catch some of his mages and kill them. Beyond that, the wheel does have 16 province defense, so it's got some units. I'm going to have to script a defensive communion, which I can do. I only have thaumaturgy level 1. I'm 2 points away. I'm 2 turns away from vampires, so I really want to keep doing that. I do have alteration 5, which doesn't really help me. And of course I have evocation level 0 as well, so I can't magic duel. Magic duel would be one, albeit expensive, answer to this situation. In enchantment, I just haven't researched astral combat magic. Like, Mind Burn would really help here. Magic Duel would really help here, but I just haven't been doing that. So, it's going to be a problem. We're going to move Cambria, the barbarian, back in to defend. He is berserk. He does have a magic weapon and reasonably good skills, so if he gets into a fight with what's-his-face, he'll probably give him a chest wound before dying, which would be nice. I'm going to have Hollow move back with a few random scattered troops. We're going to have Agrowolf move back with a couple random scattered troops. If he goes this way, he'll run into Gavudra first. I really want Gavudra to go down here on the off chance that I can put him back under siege immediately to start chipping down the walls again, because I need to do that. We're going to get Cambria up there. We've got Gerlach and Leperlove, what a name, heading up in this direction with some troops. Gottesschalk is waiting. We'll do that. We're forging several Great Swords of Sharpness this turn. We're forging 2 Great Swords of Sharpness, 1 Armor of Knights, and 1 Shield of Gleaming Gold. Do I actually need the Shield of Gleaming Gold? Change that to a Great Sword of Sharpness. So we're now going to we're not going to do the Ulm thing. We're going to get a whole bunch of warrior chiefs, equip them very cheaply with Great Swords of Sharpness and possibly armor, and send them in, because having those high damage magical weapons will allow us to cut down the Son of Kokabel very, very quickly. Up here, meanwhile, things are going better. We've taken White Forest, and this army is pushing on to Marverni. We've got 2 very heavily and inefficiently geared warrior chiefs, one with a Shield of Gleaming Gold and one with a Vine Shield, who are charging into Oak Beach, and they are both going to be set to attack rear. And just standing, like, over here. So their goal will be to overwhelm the province defense. They both have area of effect attacks. They have high prot. I've buffed their magic resistance a little bit. And then they have secondary levels of defense. They have Awe in this case, and the Vine Shield in this case. And they move very fast. And they're stealthy, of course. And they are fire and cold resistant because they're wielding firebrands. So they should be able to take out at least small amounts of province defense. If I took them into battle against ghosts, they would do okay, but I expect they would be killed eventually. What I need to do here is I need to take that off of you, and I need to get a small... I need some of my sages in order to cast anti-magic to buff my troops' magic resistance. So I need to start them moving... I'm not sure in what direction. Probably up that way. And down here, my 2 Banes and my Uvatha, my undead unit, have taken Illidar as well. And I have these guys sneaking in to support them. So we're going to set them to move, actually. And we have got 77 skeletons remaining. We're going to split them up into 2 squadrons once again. Put them up front. You'll be on hold and stay back. You're all on hold and attack. And we will put Hrodulf, Gunnulf, and Kassel up there. They are going to have to cast Resist Poison first, and then they will drop buff spells and Swarm in order to help fight off the undead legions. So we're doing that. Kurgle and Rind, I think, can probably split up, to be honest. And I would like them to split up because I want to do that. I want to hold both of these under siege in order to minimize what he gets out of them as well. These scouts are all sneaking around, lots of research being done. It's a good old time. Up here, I'm still mass summoning fire imps and casting the Ritual of 5 Gates. I'm also starting to cast Bowl of Blood, just in order to slowly site search my territory for blood sites, because some blood sites are very valuable, albeit very rare. And my god, Irminsul, is casting Infernal Disease on this stack in the hopes that an ethereal double attack disease demon can hit the Telkeen. Fairly unlikely, but I think there are relatively few commanders here, and disease demons are really, really good assassins. So casting Infernal Disease summons a disease demon, which is an ethereal 30 HP demon with 2 magical Touch of Leprosy attacks. And if it hits you with the Touch of Leprosy, you get diseased. I think there's a magic resistance check for it. There might not even be. But in any case, it's really, really bad. And its attacks also hit fairly hard, and of course it gets 2 at high attack values. So very, very often, a disease demon can fly into base combat with contact with a mage immediately after that mage casts like 1 buff, and just murder them with touch of leprosy. And even if it doesn't kill them, it usually leaves them diseased, and so they die, and diseased and at low hit points often, and so they die fairly quickly. So, my goal here is to basically accomplish that. Now, this is worrying. This big pile of units right here. That is a problem. I probably have the magic to deal with it. If nothing else, Anianus and Aoric can come back down, can collapse back down fairly quickly. I do have one. I have a couple of nature mages. I've got my sorceresses up here, and I'm starting to recruit shamans instead of the black witches. I should actually go back to recruiting the black witches, probably. They're slower, but they give me more reliably cool paths. These ladies I should give research items that I have forged, including my lightless lantern there, for the moment. And of course I do also have several fires in a jar, which I can use to cast fire spells with my Fire 1 mages, because they can ramp themselves up to Fire 2, and then they can do cool things with them. So, I'm also forging yet another Dwarven Hammer, because I'm still running short despite having, like, 6 or 7. So, that's the plan. I'm annoyed. I should have known that wouldn't work to charge in like that, but I let myself be goaded in Discord, basically, is what happened. And I was like, oh, okay, fine, I'll go in and finish you off. Whore. And, of course, it didn't work out that way because I should have known it wouldn't work out that way. But it'll be fine. We will continue apace. Down here, it looks like Atlantis is scoring some victories, but possibly not many. I think this guy basically rampaged through and then dropped back off into the water. And hopefully, like this is where I would really like this Basalt King to be. In that stack. Because that is a big, scary stack of scary ghosts, and I want nothing to do with it. I would rather it was not here, especially because Hinnom is going to be distracting my troops. I've got to finish off Hinnom, and so yeah, sort of an annoyingly bad spot. But I have blood slaves. My blood slave income is quite high. So, well, I mean, it's not high by the standards of blood nations at this point in the game. Like, it's, what turn is it again? It's turn 45. A real blood nation by this point would be raking in like 200 blood slaves per turn or something. But I'm raking in 60 or 70. And these two ladies are going to move down. Let's move them down there, but let's script them to retreat just in case, because they can't really contribute to any battle since there's no blood slaves there. Actually, I just thought of something. Because, you see, they can cast Hellbind Heart if they're in a communion. They'd have to cast Sabbath Master and then Reinvigoration. But then they could use Blood Boil, or more importantly, they could use Hellbind Heart. So yeah, and the reason why this would work is because blood mages use blood slaves that are standing near them. They don't necessarily have to be assigned to that particular blood mage. So I'm gonna just in case he attacks, we're gonna script Sabbath Master, Reinvigoration, and then Hellbind Heart 3 times, and then cast spells. We're gonna script that. We're gonna move down here. Those 3 are moving away. All the others, so you, that's 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's 5. So all of you are going to script Communion Slave. This will be interestingly risky if it comes into play at all. And then every single one of you is going to take 6 Blood Slaves. We're gonna see if this accomplishes anything. Hopefully this won't even come into play. But having 30 blood slaves on the field might help. 1, 2, 3, 4. Where's the fifth one? I counted 5. I'm sure I counted 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. That's 5 guys with 6 blood slaves each. 2 blood mages should not be able to use up that many. I'm actually not going to move these guys. They're going to research because that would kick the slave count up to 3. Up to 8, I'm sorry. And that means that my blood mages would get a 3-path boost. So they would effectively become blood 4, and that would let them spam spells a lot more effectively, both blood and fire. So, that is going to be our weird little defensive plan here. And it'll have to be the province defense chaffing for us because, yeah. Because Gavoldra has to go over here. Just on the, on the off chance. I'm doing it on the off chance. This is honestly kind of a risky situation because he does have a lot of mages in there and his goddess. And most importantly, he has the son of Kokobel, who is super, super powerful. But we'll see how it goes. I think it'll go fine. We're moving in to attack that, besieging that. We're going to besiege those two. We're still working down this fortification. It is severely damaged, so it should only take 1 or 2 more turns to crack it. Somebody got tainted in Ripe Woods, but that actually doesn't mean anything bad. It just gives you higher leadership values, that's all. So she now has 60 undead leadership, which is actually pretty cool, as opposed to the 5 that Garnet Sorceresses normally have. And yeah. That is about it. In terms of recruitment, all I'm doing is recruiting a few shield maidens down here in Ulm. I will be giving Ajavulf some shield maidens to lead. Let's give him a flesh eater, just for fun. Make him berserk. Sounds like a good time. So Ajavulf will give him these shield maidens. And he can move right up there with them. And we are collapsing a bunch of units on here. We're also recruiting a couple more warrior chieftains. I think I'm not recruiting one there. I think I'm recruiting one there as well. So that we can put them down here and give them great swords of sharpness and send them in to help deal with the son of Kokobel. So that is the turn. And it should be interesting. Atlantis is being completely kicked off the land by Mictlan, who seems to be cooperating with Therados, which is a little bit dangerous seeming. Mictlan is kind of making a comeback here, like he's developing into a real nation. As is Calum. Calum is also being ignored at the moment, and so he's also developing into a real nation. That's fine. These are Garnet Amazons, which I would like, but I'm not willing to throw myself into a third war over them, so they're just going to be what it is. That's Niflheim's capital. Niflheim is fairly large and respectable. But Therados is definitely the dangerous one, especially with these 540 units. Oof. I'm worried about all that. In fact, I'm so worried about that I may... Map move 16. Can you get here in 1 turn? It would take you 2 turns to get there. I might do that. I might just move my blood mages wholesale down to Ripe Woods. I think I'm gonna just do that. Lutbalt and Goar will get there first, and they'll be able to help reanimate stuff if necessary. And everyone else is just gonna move down. That's a whole lot of blood slaves I'm not spending this turn, but you know what? I may actually want to send that disease demon at Therados. Infernal disease. Yeah, let's launch it at Therados and see what we can hit. It's trying to assassinate that Telkeen, but I think there's also a Telkeen in Therados, and there will be more commanders here. And particularly, there will be commanders that are leading some fraction of this huge army, so by hitting here, I may trap some of that huge army in place. This huge army, I'm still worried about that, definitely. I'm a little bit less worried about it because my actual troops here are immune to poison. Well, actually, the Mound Kings are, but I guess the Fiery Imps are not. Ooh. Yeah, I should have paid a little bit more attention to that. Oh well. The Mound Kings are immune to poison, and they'll be able to at least put Marverni under siege. It has wall integrity 250. I only have 130 siege strength because these Fiery Imps have low siege strength. But so it'll take them 2 turns to crack it if necessary. But I'm hoping that I can draw this army away and that Atlantis can besiege Sintania or something. Or Nuptia or somewhere. I'm hoping that Atlantis can do something. And at some point I should also take Redbud Grove, but that's really not high on my priority list right at the moment. So, thanks for watching. I'll see you all in turn 46.